How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hope you guys are having a great and exceptional evening. Not going to be on too long today. Just wanted to talk about this one interesting article that I found very interesting. Wanted to share with you all. Give me your perspectives in the comments section because you know me, I love to hear from people. That's why I go on live because I want to hear from the people, not just let it be all about me and all that good stuff. But anyways, with cryptocurrency and all that's been happening with cryptocurrency, it's actually interesting, given the fact that it's just been going down, down, down like a downtown sewer. It's just been going down, especially ever since beautiful Mr. Elon Musk gave his perspective and tweeting about his opinions about cryptocurrency. Not hating, you know, he's free to say what he wants to say, and I'll leave it at that. All right, but anyways, upside of cryptocurrency because you know the media loves to keep everything negative. One of my favorite states, Nevada, because especially because of good old Las Vegas. I actually can't wait to go to Reno one day. Um, they're working in conjunction with the private sector in Nevada to create futuristic cities. I know the idea isn't new. I believe in Arizona, Bill Gates has been doing that for a minute, and various other people. So the idea of futuristic cities slash smart cities are not new, and they've become a reality. But hey, I want to talk about this aspect of it happening in Nevada. Jeffrey Burns, who's the CEO of Nevada's based Blockchains LLC, envisions a city where people not only purchase goods and services with digital currencies slash multiple cryptocurrencies, but he also would like to see a log of an entire online footprint with financial statements, medical records, and personal data on blockchain. And I think it's interesting because this could be another way forward. You know what I mean? I've already talked about how, given the fact that I've not only made money via the blockchain by purchasing and trading and all that good stuff, but I've actually had the pleasure of being able to pay bills and go shopping with my blockchain Visa card. So I think that's pretty cool as well. And so with other aspects of digital footprint via these other services, I think it's a beautiful thing because one of the things a lot of times, especially just think about today's generation coming out of high school and college and out of the military in 2021 specifically. Imagine people coming out and they go work for an organization, whether it's public or private, and they see a lot of paper being pushed and they see a lot of, they don't see a lot of data being pushed out because that's just the new norm. So just imagine somebody, somebody in the early to mid 20s going to work at an organization where everything is behind the times. I mean, people are not only used to just, spending money, people are not even like, even the fact that this one young person told me today working at Dollar General said, because they were happy that Dollar General finally has Google Pay and Apple Pay in their new system. So they're like the idea of owning a freaking debit card is beneath them. They say, like, work with me here. The idea of having to actually have a physical card is beneath them. Like they like the fact that when they go to the gym, they have their um, digital gym membership card. They don't have to have a actual physical key fob. You know, when they go pay at the gas station, they're using their cell phone. They're not using a card. You know, you got the touchless debit cards and credit cards nowadays because of COVID. And you got more and more people using Google Pay and Apple Pay. And now, obviously, with cryptocurrency, I could just see that being the same thing because now you have the cryptocurrency card. But eventually, that I could just see that going away. You know, this is the time where we are in the height of the digital age. And that's why I said the fact that somebody even the idea of somebody having to even utilize a debit card when they go shopping on any level, like I said, in their mind, it's beneath them. They want to, they like their shopping experiences to be like going into an app, like they're going to DoorDash, going to an app, like they're shopping at Safeway and Kroger's or any other place that allows people to deliver the food or do the pickup outside. You know, that's why I'm bringing this article up because I just love the fact that we are literally at the height of the information age, whether people want to, buy into it or not. And more businesses are being created online than actual physical businesses. And that's just the first time in its history. So I think it's very interesting. And not only that, um, within the state of Nevada, the blockchain has actually been adopted by some local governments for everything from documenting marriage licenses to facilitating elections. Documenting marriage licenses and facilitating elections. Okay, that is deep. That is, like I said, to me, it is, because this is the way forward. This is the future, in a sense. Now, will there be people that want to combat all this stuff? Absolutely, but certain local governments do various different things compared to other governments. Nothing wrong with that at all. Another thing that the article stated, that the company actually wants to break ground by 2022, so next year, in rural Story County in Nevada, which is 12 miles east of Reno, Nevada. So rural Stony County. It's proposing to build 15,000 homes and 33 million square feet, 3 million square feet meters of commercial and industrial space within 75 years. So these are people that have a looking towards the future with a way forward mentality. Okay. Burns, whose idea basically was to draft the legislation that some lawmakers saw behind closed doors last week, said that traditional government doesn't offer enough flexibility to create a community where people can invest new uses for his technology. Interesting. Like I said, good or bad, I'm just putting this information out there. Your opinion is your opinion. I'm not here to change your opinion. I just think this is interesting that in 2021, this is what's being proposed. Okay. Not only has futuristic cities been proposed for a minute, but now, given the fact that they want futuristic cities where crypto blockchain technology is being utilized more than it ever has before in history. And the article also, Mr. Burns also stated that there's got to be a place somewhere on this planet where people are willing to just start from scratch and say, we're not going to do things this way just because it's the way we've done it. And I get that, because a lot of times, that's why a lot of times certain generations have a conflict with one another on the job or in business, because, you've got the mentality of younger people wanting to come on board and switch things up. I've worked at places like that before, unfortunately, when I was younger, and you had the older guard, as I would respect them, they're like, no, we've always done it this way, and that's the way we're always going to do it. There's no way forward mentality. And it makes younger people not want to ever stay in an organization if they don't see the chances of them getting promoted and being able to implement change that can make things run much more efficiently. A lot of people are just very addicted to paper and all the laws in the land. Some generations just have to, unfortunately, time has to pass and people have to retire or die off in order for things to change a lot of times in certain organizations, public or private, you know what I mean? Because certain people it's that comfort zone. It's that comfort zone. I remember having a conversation with a gentleman, my elder, so I respected him, but he was like he could not fathom the idea of not having paper. He's like, it boggled his mind. He's like, well, what if the network goes down? I said, well, why do you think they pay these IT people so much money? They pay these people so much money to ensure that if the network goes down, there's a backup of some sort. Because trust me, if all the data was, if the bank, I put it like this, if industry didn't trust when it comes to their money, I'm talking about financial institutions. Okay, if they didn't trust technology to ensure that the data was there, to ensure that the money was there, they would not put any trust in technology like that. They would have paper everywhere still. And I guarantee you, if you go to any major banking institution, from Wells Fargo to Citibank to Bank of America, I guarantee you're not going to see a lot of paper flying around everywhere, but you will see some intense networks that are heavily protected, and you will go from there. You know what I mean? This is the times we're living in. So I get it, and I'm all for the way forward mentality, because unfortunately, a lot of times, a lot of places, they actually lose population because they don't want to change. They don't want to expand. They don't want to grow. A lot of the parts of the country that are expanding and that are growing, that's the ones that are getting all the population. Hence, they're getting the tax base. So, like the state of Texas, Georgia, and North Carolina, and Florida are advancing in multiple different ways. Nevada, Arizona, they're advancing in multiple different ways because they know that they not only are they with the way forward, but they know that you can't do things like the way you used to do things back in the 1950s and 60s, especially when it comes to running your local and state governments. If you do that, you will discourage people that are getting older to stay in your state, and you will discourage young people to want to stay or come to your state. That's just keeping it real. You know what I mean? And in today's world where the price of everything is, going up tremendously, people are going to go where the best bang for their buck and where they can actually save money and have the opportunity to invest money. If they're constantly in a place where they only can be living paycheck to paycheck and living on assistance for the rest of their lives without any way forward, then why would they have the incentive to want to live in your state? I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it real on that note. So I think it's pretty interesting. And then another thing he says, he wants Nevada to change its laws to allow innovation zones where companies would have powers like those of a county government, including creating court systems. Now, this is interesting. Imposing taxes and building infrastructure while making land and water management decisions. So basically, he wants corporations to be able to have the same specific powers as government. Give me your opinions on that one. My personal opinion, I don't think that. I think there has to be some sort of oversight. I'm just gonna keep it real. When it comes to everything, there has to be some sort of oversight. But you never know. The state of Nevada is an innovative state, and it's a forward-thinking state. And heck, for the most part, darn near everything is legal in the state of Nevada. So, I could see it possibly happening. Maybe there being a compromise, saying, okay, this is actually your land. You have your own law enforcement. However, we as the state government have oversight, and we have the authorities to step in at XYZ time and things of that nature. But it'd be interesting seeing actual corporation, actual town or county owned by a corporation. Heck, I remember these group of African Americans in Georgia bought a town within a county. They bought a town within a county. They put their money together and they did that. So I could see that happening, especially if it gives people it gives people incentive to want to buy land that nobody wants. That's another thing. So to be able to it's like, okay, that's the deal. Okay, we'll give you this land. You have your own court systems and your own police departments and et cetera. You have oversight over all that. We just need you to take care of the land and we'll go from there. So it's interesting. To be honest with you, it's very interesting. The proposal differs from the big tax rebates that have gone wary of offering, like the 1.3 billion given to Tesla to build its Northern Nevada battery factory, or the billions New York and Virginia offered Amazon to build new corporate headquarters. And that's true. I'm from the state of Virginia. I'm in the state of Virginia, and I remember both states offered tremendous amount of tax incentives. That's what states do to bring corporations to the state. But it's interesting. Somebody's other perspective is it raises deeper issues about increasing tech companies' grip on everyday life at a time when antitrust regulations that are put in place and whatnot, and people have their issues with tech companies having control over specific markets. So I get that as well. But it'll be interesting. It'll be very innovative. We'll see what happens. And I think the governor of Nevada is actually on board with it, because he says blockchain LLC and so-called innovation zones were a key part of the governor's state of the state address back in January, when he outlined plans to rebuild a more diversified economy after the pandemic. And let's just be realistic about this. A lot of states had to learn, and cities learn a valuable lesson, and working people and businesses, like I think everybody learned a valuable lesson about the pandemic. You cannot depend on one certain thing to keep your economy afloat. A state like Nevada, which resides heavily on gambling, and I'm not talking anything bad about Nevada because I actually want to retire there. Heavy on gambling and tourism and whatnot, was shut down for a significant amount of time, which hurt their economy, because I don't care how you slice and dice it, it is a big tourist state, like Nevada and Florida. So you have, just as people who earn money have to look at different ways to diversify their income, states have to look at different ways to diversify their economy. So it's a great opportunity. I just think there has to be some sort of oversight in some sort of way, so the governor's like, hey, we don't want this to happen again. And I'm not mad at that statement. It's like, hey, this is ridiculous. You know, it's just like, it is what it is. Love it or hate it, you have to have diversification in your financial portfolio. Just like I say, that's to have diversification in their economy. And a matter of fact, I'm surprised a state like Nevada is not actually having more tech companies move there, because they're right next door to California. And just like a lot of tech companies that move to Austin, Texas and what, I don't know why they haven't, there's no incentive for people to want to move to like a Reno. Reno is actually cheaper than Vegas when it comes to cost of living. So I think it's interesting. I think there might be, I see it passing the legislation with some sort of a compromise, just like any other bill is passed in any form of government or whatnot in the United States of America. Because given the fact that they have a Tesla factory there where they're actually building Tesla vehicles, is a beautiful thing. And another thing is the actual county is actually, Story County is actually home to Tesla's car factory. And so if you think about that, you combine that, Tesla, you combine the blockchain community being built, and, there's a lot of land that's unused out in Nevada. Once you leave Reno, Carson City, which is the capital, or once you leave Vegas, there's nothing but desert. So I get to see that as well. Having more land, less taxes. Nevada is a very business-friendly state. So it's just one of those things to take into consideration. All right. I hope to see something like this in the future. And I think that with the right people in the right mindset, these things can actually take place and, come to fruition. But just think of it, the idea of having a smart city that's based off of blockchain technology. I mean, it's interesting. All the tech innovation that actually takes place. I don't even think half the time people think about the stuff that's not only just out there, but the stuff that can truly be done and whatnot. Because most of us are just used to being on our cell phones, looking at the apps and all that good stuff. But there's so much more to what we can do out here if we just put our mind to it. You know what I mean? But on that note, family, hopefully you guys have a great day. I just wanted to give my perspective on this. I mean, the idea of it, like I said, as long as there's some oversight involved, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I'm just going to keep it real on that note. Because I don't want too much craziness to happen. It has to be, I mean, everybody needs a little, laws and regulations put into the pocket and whatnot, whether we like it or not. And then everything, it's one of those things, you evolve or you disappear. And obviously the state of Nevada does not want to disappear. And if an incident like the pandemic takes place again, they want to be able to say, hey, we got other sources outside of gambling and shows and whatnot. So we know that something like this can happen again. So it's just one of those things that it's a reality, and most people don't want to face the reality, but it is one of those realities. So on that note, family, do the great 3 free things: like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. And as I always say, make money moves so you'll live broke like a fool. Do me a favor, definitely check out my online store. I sell a multitude of products. If you're interested, if you're a crypto investor, you're interested in joining the Gold Standard Partners, don't forget to sign up. All the links are in the description. Thank you all for the Cash Apps and the PayPal contributions. It's always greatly appreciated. And on that note, make money move, and you'll live broke like a fool, family. Take care.